Welcome back, gamers. Justin here with you again, and today we're doing developer blog number 12. A little bit to talk about today, actually. So before I get too far, one of the first things that I want to talk about is we are doing a Q&A or an Ask Me Anything on February 23rd at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So 4 Central, 5 Eastern. I'm in Central, so that's why I say that. But if you're interested in joining, asking questions, anything like that, head over to our Discord. The link is down in the description. I pointed down, actually. You didn't see that, but I'm not on camera, but here I am, like, pointing down to the description. Anyways, the link's in the description for our Discord channel. Go join that up. Join up. Ask your question in the Q&A channel. And also if you're a Patreon, you get voice chat as well. So certain tiers are given access to voice chat to where we can actually have a voice communication as compared to a text to relay. Snipey, the community manager, is going to be, keeping us on track with that. We'll try to keep it orderly and have a good time. It should be really good. So. Again, February 23rd, 5 Eastern Standard Time, 4 Central Time. Ask me anything in our Discord. We've got a stage set up. It's going to be a great time, so come join us. So with that, let me jump into the stuff we need to cover today. So I've got the day-night cycle on. We're going to watch a beautiful sunset here while I talk about this a little bit. So I'm going to show you a couple of new zones, but before I get into that, I've done quite a bit of work on the character controller. I have just never really been happy with the character controller, with the character movement. It was very kind of rough, and I'm purposely not moving. I'm just kind of wiggling around here so you can see, but I'm purposely not WASDing right now because I want to be able to kind of walk through this. So the inertia was just never really the way I wanted it to be. And let me give you a better view. It was just never really the way I wanted it to be. It felt sluggish, and either it was too extreme, kind of like Tarkov did, where it felt like you were driving a boat, as compared to too little, where it was like, you could just step out and peek back, and it was too quick. So I believe that I finally found a solution to all of this. I'm really happy with it. And then the other part that I didn't really like about it was that I didn't really have a lot of control over up inclines, down inclines, changing the coefficients when you're walking up a slippery slope, so if it's raining or something like that. I just didn't have the control that I wanted over that kind of stuff. And I believe that the character model is very important. So, or the character movement model, to be more specific. So I spent a considerable amount of time on that this week as compared to doing the map like I had originally anticipated. So there have been map additions, but I want to start with movement here. So the first thing, I'm just going to kind of sidestep here, and you can see that, that now inertia. So I'm WASDing here, pretty quickly. And you can see that there's, what I consider to be a good motion to that. So let me kind of, it's not just like move left, move right. There's a very fluid kind of motion to this. And that's been lacking in the past. Before it was, you would go like full right, full left, and it would just stop on a dime, and there was no kind of sway or anything like that. And that has very much changed now. Also started adding in some of the finer points. So you can see I'm standing perfectly still here, and we're in an idle animation, and you can see that we're just kind of, as we breathe, like the camera slowly moves and that kind of stuff. So, a lot of those little subtle things, and the weapon does this as well. So I don't have a weapon equipped right now. But the weapons, we're starting to build in the animations to that as well, which is really good. We're getting a lot of cool stuff out of that. We're finally getting it to where you can like aim down sights, and the weapon kind of motions and whatnot as you move and that kind of stuff. So a lot of progress on the character model or character movement model. The next thing that I want to show off. So I'm going to head up this slope, and I'm going to do it at a walk first. And then I'll do a sprint, and then we'll turn around and do a walk down and a sprint down, so that you can see the differences in the movement. So this is going up at a walk, and I'm going to go ahead and sprint here, and you can see that it's just not quite a full sprint. Now, if I go down, that's the walk and that's the sprint, and it's subtle, but there are quite a few differences. And what it actually does is it makes it more efficient for you to kind of serpentine up a hill as it does to just run straight up the hill. Here it's very, very slow, very sluggish. But if you kind of side strafe and work your way up the mountain, it becomes a lot more efficient and effective. So that's kind of one big thing. And like I said, the other was just the kind of back and forth movements, making sure that, that you couldn't do like these weird kind of quirky peaks where you step out, step back in, and before the server can render that, you're already back in cover. Or, you get it takes care of a lot of like lag issues and stuff that a lot of other games experience, that have these character models where you step out, step in, and there's no inertia and no slowness and no, kind of swing to get the motion back to the other direction. So it'll help out quite a bit when it comes to server side, or, server side stuff as well. So with that, we'll get into the map here a little bit. There used to be a fence, so there was a solid fence that made its way all the way up here, and that is gone now. So as I was playing around with this, I just didn't really like it. It made it too difficult to actually get down into this area. So instead, they've been replaced out with these sandbags that were here for kind of defensive fortifications. So this is UNF, if you're not aware. This is the UNF kind of beachhead that's down here. So we've got a couple of things, the little, I don't even know what they're called actually, now that I think about it. It's the tank stoppers. we'll run with that. Well, there's an actual name for them, but I apologize, I don't know what they are right off. You can see what music I'm listening to. I had to turn it down a little bit. So the next thing is that here on the beach we've got these containers stacked. And, again, this is kind of like the beachhead here for the UNF. The idea is that all of these are going to be filled to the brim with, probably foods, weapons, medical supplies, that kind of stuff, and then we'll probably open up some more of these. I'm also looking at adding some layers to this. So, maybe some scaffolding or something that'll allow you to get up to some of these other containers up here. So these are kind of stacked here on the beach. And if we come around here, there's a second layer to these. And, some of these are open right now as well. And same kind of concept, I may kind of move this out, these to the right here a little bit. And that should give us a little bit more room back here to maybe add some scaffolding and stuff to get some height and some additional looting areas there. So I'm going to go ahead and head over here to, into the camp here a little bit. This is not fully fleshed out yet, so, by all means, this is, let me, give me 1 second. I'm going to turn off the rain here. Give me a second. Okay, so to make some of those changes, I actually had to restart here a little bit. So I've disabled the weather. I've also disabled the time of day. So we're going to stay at this time of day, which is noonish, 1-ish, something like that. I forget what time I have it set to. Maybe it's 4 in the afternoon, actually. So that should give us a little bit better view of some of this stuff now to where it's not nighttime with the rain and very dark. We're not done styling this up yet or adding components to this, so this will all be kind of a paved area right here. And the idea is that they kind of dug this out from the mountainside, put a paved area down, and then, stacked up all these containers with supplies and such. Move the ships back a little bit, so now there are more of them, but they're not parked right here at the pier. And we're going to go ahead and build this pier out a little bit more as well, make it a little bit more robust, a little bit more realistic, that kind of stuff. So, it's very kind of basic right now, and we're going to expand that out a little bit. Getting up here, we've added just a few little things, some wood piles, stuff like that. The road is here. We've also got some barrels that will probably not stay there. I was kind of playing around with those to see what they look like. Got the roads in place. The roads still have a little bit of texturing to do. So I've got some texture to add, like cracks and breaks and stuff like that into the into the landscape here. So that way it's not like a perfectly paved road everywhere you go. That's kind of that. I'll turn around and give you a view of kind of what we're looking at here. One of the ideas that I'm kind of playing with here is to make it to where you can get up on top of these containers back here. So I think what I may do is put kind of a ramp or something, like a wooden ramp, something like that, and put a break in this fence, or maybe just get rid of the fence completely. But the fence is kind of there for your safety right now because I was falling and kind of getting stuck down there. But I may make a way to get over this and allow you to get up on top of these containers at some point, which should add for some interesting interesting gameplay at times. But with that, let me give me a second here. I'm going to change my location, but I don't want to run clear across the map with you. So I'm going to go show you the Scrounger and the Collector camps that have been started right now. And we'll talk about those. So give me a second. Through the magic of editing, I will be right back. All right, welcome back. So we're over here at the Scrounger Camp, and I think most of you have only seen screenshots, and that's if you follow on Discord or Twitter. So we'll kind of do a walkthrough here of the Scrounger Camp. So the Scrounger Camp is it's just that this will be a potential spawn area for Scroungers. Not a potential. This will be an AI spawn for Scroungers. It will also be an extract and a drop-off point for those of you that choose to play as a Scrounger. So we get in here and you can see, we've got some kind of tents and stuff set up here. And this is kind of a living space type setup. We've got some food and some carts and whatnot. Hay bales, all the good stuff that you might expect with some of this. Places to sit, some camps and, some food and all that kind of good stuff. Back over here, we do have... I'll sprint to get over there. So this is kind of like a stash area, so all of this is lootable. You'll be able to, to find weapons and ammo and probably some meds and stuff like that. There's some meds there in the corner that will spawn and do its thing. We have made this a little bit more difficult to get to though. There is kind of a barbed wire fence here in addition to just this little wooden fence, kind of the low level fence. And then we'll continue to kind of build this out, so, you get your wood, your axe piles, that kind of stuff. And, and just one of the things that we do like, a little campfire over here. But, a couple of tents, different varieties of tents, that kind of stuff. And then your water tower. And over here around the water tower, we probably will spawn things like bottles of water and, maybe some more medications and stuff like that. But, trying to make this as realistic as possible given the surroundings and, and what's going on. So that's kind of the beginnings of that. There is a little bit more detail that's going to go into this. And like I said, this is an AI spawn for Scroungers. So if you come into this, you're expect to have a lot of Scrounger presence. There is also a faction boss that will probably spawn in here. I'm still up for debate as to where specifically he'll spawn, but given that this is kind of the main camp for Scroungers, it makes sense that he would be here. So, on that topic, if you would like to name that boss, go look at the month of February's Patreon perk, I guess is what we're calling it for the month. So anybody that subscribes to a certain tier or above, or upgrades their current Patreon level or tier, will have the ability to name one of the in-game bosses or faction leaders. So not necessarily a boss, but a faction leader. So that should be pretty cool. There are only 8 of those though, so that it's basically first come, first serve. As soon as the 8 are taken, we'll pull that perk down. With that though, that's the Scrounger Camp. So give me a second here, and again, through the wonders of editing, I'll jump all the way across the map and we'll look at the beginnings of the Collector spawn. All right, again, the powers of editing. So here we are. I am over clear on the other side of the map. So before we were way over there, way other side of the map. This is almost the other corner of the map now. It's a little hard to illustrate in first person mode, but basically it's almost that way, like straight out this way is where we just were. And then over here is where that UNF Beachhead is. So, UNF Beachhead, if we run for like 2 kilometers that way, we end up there. If we go, it's about 3 kilometers this way to get to the Scrounger Camp. So that's, kind of a directional basis here. And when I get to the top of this, you'll see the other side of the map here to hopefully kind of bring it together for you. So, we do have a fence line that partially outlines this. Not so much from the backside. And then as we come up into this camp, the idea was that they've set up this kind of rock wall here. This is all just stuff we're playing around with. Obviously we're not going to leave food on the ground like this. But, again, it's kind of rock walled off. We've got a bunch of spawns here as far as weapon crates and whatnot, some wood. all of the goodies that you would expect to be at a faction camp. We do have some of the housing and some of the tents and stuff set up. Obviously we're reusing some of the assets here to keep things light. But some water towers, the hay bales, all of that kind of good stuff. And then down here we're starting to set up the actual kind of living quarters per se. So again, it's we're reusing some of this, but it's all of that kind of good stuff down here. Yeah, and you can see now that if I come over here, this is, so there's the ocean line on the other side, and you can see the fence line down here. This fence does not actually go the entire way, so you do have ways to come in through here. It was a little too rocky, so we decided to make this an opening into the actual camp. So, plenty of ways to enter in here. And then if you follow these little gullies down, or these runoff areas, you'll actually find that there is a fence down here, but it does stop at the edge of these runoffs. So again, another kind of entrance way into this, so here we are, we're able to kind of work our way through this and find another way in. So, that's kind of the big stuff. We've added a lot of other little things here. Just a lot of rocks, a lot of terrain details, that kind of stuff that don't kind of come, that aren't bushes, trees, and grass, basically. So a lot of rock walls, a lot of rock edges, places for you to kind of get up on top of and actually kind of look out and see what's going on, get some height advantage, that kind of stuff. But here soon I'll be doing kind of a big fly through of this map. We'll program the camera to do like a full walkthrough of the zone. And I probably won't narrate that, we'll probably just kind of do a fly through and put some music to it and that kind of stuff. But, try to get it to where you can actually start to kind of get your bearings together. So with all of that, I've been kind of long-winded today, but that's kind of where we're at. The goal is that, in the next week or so here, to have this mostly finished up, so the hunter spawns will be around, although so I can talk about that a little bit. The hunter spawns are not in individual camps. So, this is the collectors and the scroungers are over there, UNF's there. But remember, the hunters are very individual characters. So the goal is that they don't really have a camp per se. Instead, they're kind of scattered throughout the map. So you'll just kind of randomly stumble across, not randomly, they'll be placed, but you'll just stumble across one of their camps. But remember, hunters are very much individuals. They run alone. They generally don't rely on others. We felt it was appropriate to just kind of scatter their spawns and whatnot throughout the map. So, if you come across a big camp like this, expect to find a concentration of those, and then it'll also be drop-off points and that kind of stuff. Hunters are a little bit different. They'll have their drop-off points, but they're kind of scattered and randomized and whatnot to an extent. And then if you go unfactioned, you're just on your own. The unfactioned, you don't get drop-off points. You'll have kind of generic extracts near the edges of the maps. So if you come in unfactioned, it's truly that hardcore experience. We'll drop you in. You have no help on the map. You have no AI friends. And it's on you. It's just that hardcore experience. So for those of you that enjoy that, not me. I don't. I hate that. But I know some of you out there really like it. So, I wanted to build that in and give you options when it comes to that. So with all of that said, though, I think that's probably enough for today. Remember, we're doing the AMA on February 23rd at 5 Eastern Standard Time, 4 Central, for those of you in the central parts of the U.S., if you want to join that, head over to Discord. Link is down in the description. Otherwise, do all of the social things. Follow us on Twitter. Hit us up on Patreon. Buy some merchandise. Reddit's out there. We've got a TikTok that's kind of getting started up. So, do all of the social things that are up on the screen at some point. Appreciate you all sticking around this long. And I will probably see you next Friday for another developer vlog. So, again, thanks for your time. Have a great week. Stay warm.